What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Big Ten football channel.
All right, let's stay in the Big Ten and move on to our next question, which involves the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Undefeated Golden Gophers. Does Minnesota have a legit shot at upsetting Penn State? The two get it on this Saturday at noon Eastern time on Fox. Let's consider that Minnesota, from the standpoint of talent, does not really compare to Penn State. Penn State is top 10 to 12 talent in the nation. Minnesota is more in the 40 to 50 range. Let's also understand that if we go through many of the best teams in the nation over the past several seasons, they have certainly proven capable of losing to much lesser teams. Clemson. Clemson lost to Pitt, a Pitt team that lost 5 games. And that Clemson team with Deshaun Watson at the controls won a national championship. The next Clemson version the next season lost to Syracuse and still made a college football playoff, and that Syracuse team finished 4-8. Ohio State, much chronicled, has let down against Iowa and Purdue the last 2 years, especially that Purdue bunch that lost 7 games was not comparable to Ohio State in any way, shape, or form. But on a given night, they were. Oklahoma made it to a college football playoff after losing to Iowa State. They also made a college football playoff after losing to a Texas team that finished under 500. And Oklahoma has a litany of scares under its belt. Last season, getting past Oklahoma State on a failed 2-point conversion, 48-47, and getting by Army at home in overtime. So, does Minnesota have a legit shot at beating Penn State? They're not as good as Penn State, but do they have a legit shot? Absolutely they do. This is going to be a damp, dank, rainy, near mixture of snow type of day in Minneapolis, 36 degrees in the forecast, 20% chance of precipitation. It just has that November feel of upset. Sean Clifford has performed well for Penn State, but against the better teams, against Pitt, against Michigan, he's not been nearly as effective. This Minnesota team is more complete than it's been in forever. There is not a foreseeable time. There has not been a time in the past that we can go back to where Minnesota has been this complete on offense with Tanner Morgan at quarterback. They have always had the Mitch Leidners at quarterback that have been runner more than passer, and they've been run heavy. They've been leaning on defensive play to carry them, and just enough offense with the likes of Rodney Smith and Shannon Brooks like they have right now, which kind of takes us back to the Lawrence Maroney days and his running mate that were some of the best backs in the Big Ten. And that was the formula for Minnesota. When they had good teams over the last 20 years, they had 2 capable running backs, and they had a defense that played lights out. And that usually transitioned or equaled an 8-4 finish for Minnesota football. But they can actually throw it. Tyler Johnson's one of the best wide receivers in the Big Ten. Rashad Bateman. And yes, Minnesota can throw it. They're capable of winning this game at home. They have a legit shot. They have a 40% chance of beating Penn State at home. That's not necessarily my pick. You can catch my picks later in the week. But Minnesota has a legit shot at home to keep their undefeated season intact and beat Penn State.